UFC Fight Night just ended. Dillashaw beat Sandhagen by split decision. We're getting right into it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 11th Island. I'm Brad. That's Chris right there. Like we said off the top, Dillashaw versus Sandhagen just ended. Dillashaw wins by split decision, 48-47 on two scorecards, the other scorecard being 48-47 Sandhagen. First off, I agree with the judges here. I think it was Dillashaw with the win. Do you agree with the judges, Chris?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with them two ways. Two went to T.J Dillashaw. Totally agreed there. I thought it was a 3-2. Everyone said it was a 3-2. I think that one swing round in the fourth, I was going Dillashaw. You were going Dillashaw. I think that's good. And the presence of I always kind of like the presence of a split decision, especially in a fight like that where you have an all-out war and there's justifications beyond the strikes, like how many strikes and how many takedowns and all the technical scoring. You just see things from different guys that it's like, wow, nobody in this fight was in a position where they were ever really losing because you have two very scrappy guys in Sandhagen and Dillashaw. So even when they were on their back, they were still dangerous. And I think that merits sort of a question mark around exactly where did that round go. Each one, it was clear for me anybody can score it in their head and make that decision. But when you bring it to more people, even going into that fifth, when we were DC was starting to talk about it, and Khabib, they were showing the Khabib tweet 2-2. I wasn't there, but I could see why we're there. So a split decision here, I'm not too upset with.
Yeah, I said 1 Dillashaw, 2 Sandhagen, 3 Dillashaw, 4 swing round. I would probably give it to Dillashaw, and then 5 Dillashaw. So I really had it 4-1. That might be, I could see people saying that's too much, but that's fair. But I think with this one here, Sandhagen, I mean, he's not obviously loses the title opportunity, but he doesn't he's not dropping down the rankings. I think he still shows he's top level talent. I'm going to go as far as saying I think we just watched the two best bantamweights in the division. I know that Sterling just beat Sandhagen not that long ago. Sandhagen is not even close to the same fighter as he was going into that fight, and he's got a lot more octagon time since that fight. He's improved a lot. Sterling has only fought once since they fought, and it was when he took the title from an illegal knee to the head, which in a fight that he was losing. Jan, outstanding fighter, but I think that Dillashaw and Sandhagen are going to meet again when Dillashaw comes in, takes that belt, and Sandhagen works his way up to fight him.
And I mean, Sandhagen is an interesting person in that division because of his reach. He's a big guy, and he was using that throughout the fight. I would have liked to see him use that, like grab the limbs more. He was always grabbing like something. I mean, there was questions whether Dillashaw's knee got overextended or bent back or whatever. I'm not a doctor, but when he was hold on to those legs, and I think either Dillashaw made an adjustment where it's like, I'm not going to give you my limbs so easily, or Sandhagen just moved on to other things. Maybe a combination of the two, but Sandhagen proved himself to be a very scrappy fighter. He's a very intelligent fighter, and he even when he's going up a guy that's maybe on paper better than him or in the octagon, wow, this guy is stronger than me or faster, who knows, right? He's still able to be scrappy, and I say that respectfully. I respect a scrappy fighter. You got to use the tools, look for the screwdriver and just, whatever you can do to win. And I thought it was really fun to watch how when his right eye was bleeding, he couldn't see, and that's right on Sandhagen's jab. He's a lefty, so I'm going to go here. But so Sandhagen would hold out the jab and just wave it around, and then now Dillashaw, he can't see. He has to turn his whole head over in order to see, and then boom, you expose yourself to the hook. And then Dillashaw gets smart to that, and he says, I'm not going to look over there at that jab anymore. I know you're just feinting it, and the hook's coming, and then guess what? Boom, you get a jab. Seeing Sandhagen be able to work the situation, not just what you train, not just hitting the bag and rinse and repeat in that muscle memory, but to be able to adapt to situations, I think that's going to take him a long way in these big fights where 5 rounds, a lot of stuff can happen, and there's lots of it's about capitalizing on the little opportunities with a guy like Dillashaw or anybody in the bantamweight division who has the chin to go 5 rounds.
Yeah, and no matter what you thought about Dillashaw coming into this fight, because a lot of people are, I mean, he is coming off a 2-year suspension. He's over 2-year layoff because of popping for EPO, which is an absolute gross PED to be taking because there's no tainted supplements. And he owned up to it that he was
Hmm.
cheating, and so the question becomes cardio, because EPO is directly related to cardio. Was cardio hold up in this fight? It completely held up. He showed excellent cardio. He showed excellent toughness fighting through the adversity, especially for somebody who hasn't been in the octagon in 2 years. Like going through the cut, potentially his knee popping. There was a lot here that really impressed me at Dillashaw. It was kind of a vintage Dillashaw performance, reminiscent of what we've seen in title fights.
Hmm.
And I think, I mean, the bantamweight division is better with T.J. Dillashaw in it, and the T.J. Dillashaw of old, or maybe even not of old, a newer, potentially better Dillashaw is really
Hmm.
back.
Yeah, I mean, that especially came through in those championship rounds when you saw the classic just Dillashaw bobs, and he was moving
Hmm.
around, he was stalking, you know, and that was just a level of energy you don't see often in the fifth round. Much less expected from a guy that was busted two. First of all, forget about the ring rust, but the reason
Hmm.
why you got the ring rust is because you're apparently taking PDs. The storyline has been, oh, this has been helping his cardio. So now he's lost the secret sauce. Well, guess what? TJ Dillashaw is the secret sauce, and he's got that cardio to carry him through. And that's really, I mean, that's his energy. And I think Sandhagen had that moment of opportunity in that third round to really sleep Dillashaw there, at least in Sandhagen's mind. And if we're watching any other fighter, I think Dillashaw's done at that point. He can't see, and you got a guy clowning with you, as I said, with those tricks, exploiting everything you can out of that injury. And then Dillashaw just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. He closes the distance so that Sandhagen can't be using the peripherals with his reach. And I think Sandhagen, as you said it best. He's throwing punches that would knock anybody else down, and that's where he's gotten his knockouts on. This guy can barely see, and Dillashaw
Yeah.
just keeps on coming, keeps on coming. You could see that frustration mix with just the tiredness that comes into your first championship rounds.
Yeah, and I think too, looking ahead to the future now, Dillashaw, it's easy. It's going to be the title fight. I think we both agree on that. Everybody can agree on that, unless you are an absolute Dillashaw hater, which because of the EPO, there's going to be plenty of them. But he's getting the title fight. Sandhagen, though, where does Sandhagen go from here? Because this is his second title eliminator fight that he's lost, and looking at probably when the Sterling fight was less than 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he go next? And I think it's a Rob Font fight. I think that's a big step up for Rob Font coming off the Garbrandt win. I think Sandhagen showed he deserves to be in the top echelon of the bantamweight division, and I think that's a really fun fight between those two guys. That their styles would really mix well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the fight to make. I mean, one guy has to go down, Sandhagen, and then
Mm-hmm.
Font's been working really hard to get a win off a big name. That's gonna, like, his stock has gone up just in terms of name recognition. I mean, so you have the two old guard, Dillashaw and Garbrandt, and both
Mm-hmm.
these guys have names attached to. And I mean, Sandhagen couldn't get the win like Rob could, but still, I mean, that we're getting some eyes on these guys, and I think it's a good fight to make. There's going to be a lot of time that's going to pass,
Mm-hmm.
and before we can really see those guys slot into if they're successful, slot into the title conversation. Because now, I mean, we're not seeing Aljo and Jan until October, and
Yeah.
then and Dillashaw is going to be waiting. Whoever wins that fight,
Yeah.
so does Dillashaw even want to wait? I found it really interesting that he said, if this is going to take time, he acknowledged, is this going to take time? Who knows who's next? Who know? Like, I'll fight anybody in the top five. And the kind of the left field corner case here is, do we see this fight again? It was a split decision.
We're not seeing Dillashaw's waiting for the title. Like that's a let me win some fans back. Dillashaw's waiting for the title. Bantamweight division is way too stacked to take fights in the top five when you have a title shot waiting. No, Dillashaw's waiting for the title. He learned a lot of patience over those 2 years. Exercise a little bit more, especially if your knee you did blow it out a little bit there.
Mhm.
Rest up, get the cut healed, wait for the title shot, make the smart decision. And I think like that's
Well,
just
you just had to come in with that. I was thinking, man, I want to see this fight again. It was so fun, and Dillashaw saying like you always want to see the guy say, I just love fighting. I want to fight. I don't care about a title. And Dillashaw, I took the bait there, I guess, because you just came in and with the reality.
Yeah, the reality is he's going to get paid to fight for the title shot. And I mean, the guys, Jan or Sterling, the bigger money fight is going to be with Dillashaw. So it's not going to be, you're probably not going to see the same length of time that it's taken them back to get back in the cage. Mm-hmm. With that being said, Chris, you got anything else to add?
No, I'm going to start playing that music.
All right. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We're going to have a 500 subscriber giveaway coming up soon. We do these immediate reactions after every UFC card, so stay tuned for more of them. Some CFL interviews if that's what you're into as well. And
shut up, Brad. I'm turning up the music. See you later, everybody.